it's just everybody knows everybody in this little community, and we all love each other, and we're just all praying for the families.
The Longview community coming together to pray and mourn the now 8 people who have been confirmed dead after a chemical tank imploded at the Nippon Dynaway facility earlier this week. Good morning and thank you for joining us live at 6 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Matthew Herchik. We will get to that situation out in Longview, as well as your weather and traffic in just a few minutes. But first, we've been following breaking news this morning along the Columbia River, where multiple floating homes caught fire earlier this morning.
Yeah, our Corey Johnson is live at the scene. Corey, you just spoke with fire officials. What did they tell you?
Yeah, China, Matthew, we just got an update here on Pier West, just right off North Marine Drive, from fire officials who say that 2 homes were a total loss. 1, though, was damaged. And as you can see right now, crews have fully extinguished that blaze. But they said it was difficult to put out because the floating homes sat so closely together that the fire spread very quickly early this morning. Crews saying they responded around 4 a.m. and when they got here, they found a significant fire on one of those floating homes that quickly spread. And they say that blaze was very challenging, partly because of the unique layout of the floating home community. And so in an update recently, fire officials say that one of their biggest priorities early on was life rescue. They say they were able to get into one of the homes that had not fully been engulfed or overtaken, but they were eventually pushed back by heavy flames. And they also came across 2 elderly residents they say were completely unaware of the blaze that was going on. So they were safely able to get those elderly residents exited from their homes. Again, they say it was very, very challenging to put out due to how close those homes are situated to one another, along with difficult access to water supplies as well as hydrants with where these homes are situated. They did have the help of 2 fire boats. Those are no longer on the scene right now. Fire crews say that they are just assessing everything to learn what led up to this blaze. The Red Cross has also now been contacted in order to help those who were displaced. And again, they're trying to figure out what exactly led up to this blaze. But as we learn more information about what took place and what led to this fire, we'll continue, of course, to keep you updated. And it did create a significant traffic impact early on. When we first made our way to the scene, there was a little bit of a backup off of Interstate Drive. I want to send things over to Chris McGinnis for a look at the traffic impact.
Yeah, Corey, thanks for that. And of course, from Corey's live shot, you can see the bridge in the background. That is part of the I-5 commute getting up from North Portland onto Jansen Beach and beyond. There's the live look right now. We'll take you there to give you some perspective of exactly where Corey is here in North Portland. The neighborhood that she's talking about right there is circled in yellow, and this is what Marine Drive looks like right now, just west of I-5. Certainly a downtick in the number of emergency crews on the scene, so presumably a good sign that they are well on their way to getting that wrapped up. But again, Marine Drive just west of I-5 is where that's occurring. I do have one other trouble spot. ODOT now reporting a crash on the ramp from eastbound Highway 26 to I-405 South, and traffic now, despite usually being a little lighter on Friday mornings, is starting to back up in the Vista Ridge Tunnel for that eastbound commute. Rod, will keep you posted on this as we roll through the morning.
All right, Chris, thank you. Weather-wise, we're pretty quiet. We are seeing some areas of light rain on the radar, but not really picking up anything in Portland. There's Newport, there's Eugene, there's some light showers bumping up against the Cascades. This has been fun because we've seen a number of rainbows from our Timberline camera. A lot of cloudiness, but of course the sun off to the east as we look at the water droplets refracting. You see the rainbow colors there. It's 35 up at the lodge. They picked up just shy of an inch of rain with stormy weather last night. Here's Seaside Live, cloudy skies, 52 degrees, and the clouds from the Shalem Tasting Room in Sherwood, 56. So basically, pretty quiet day. We do have a light shower chance this morning up through at least about the 10 o'clock hour. Where you are, you may or may not get just a touch of some light rain. It will be dry this afternoon, but we'll stay relatively cool. I have us getting up to only 66 degrees. 50s at the coast, same drill. A chance of some light showers the first part of this morning and then increasing sun at the beach this afternoon. There will be scattered thunderstorms redevelop out in eastern Oregon today, but far less activity and we think far less violent activity than what we had yesterday or last night. Here's the 7-day for your weekend real quick. 66 today, tomorrow all dry, and then mostly sunny and 72 degrees on Sunday. That is your update.
Thank you, Rod. Turning back to Longview now, where it's been a difficult week for so many as crews resume their recovery efforts this morning for the people who are still missing and now presumed dead. So far, we know the remains of 6 of the 9 workers who went missing after the implosion on Tuesday have now been recovered. One of the victims, Gilbert Bernal, his family telling us that he was an electrician at Nippon Dynaway for 15 years. He died in the hospital shortly after the blast. We also spoke to one man who says that his friend, Braden Finkus, is still missing and presumed dead.
We don't have closure yet. I think for us is, a struggle of what's exactly happening.
And crews say that the recovery process has been difficult and hazardous, but they are determined to see it through for their community. Yeah, Catherine Cook has that story.
For a victim update, we can confirm that 6 of the 9 individuals have been recovered.
Longview Fire Chief Brad Hanig with the latest on recovery efforts at the Nippon Dynaway plant. He says crews recovered those 6 workers from a work area. Officials noting the chemical tank rupture happened during a shift change Tuesday morning. 3 more bodies are still missing.
For us, this continues to be incredibly difficult for all of us here and also everyone involved.
Responders describe the recovery scene as labor-intensive and a complex industrial hazard as they navigate around toxic chemicals.
Priority is ensuring responder safety while treating every victim with the greatest dignity, care, and respect possible. As individuals are recovered from the site, they undergo decontamination before being transported to the Cowlitz County Coroner's Office for identification and family notification.
I think as the days have gone by, our hopes have been fading more and more about the situation.
Javier Sanchez is waiting for word on his friend Braden Finkus, a technician who had 7 years at the plant. He says the 37-year-old lived in Cathlamet with his girlfriend.
He's amazing, selfless guy, funny.
Amazing barbecuer.
Very proud of his barbecuing and, just took care of the community.
Now Javier is asking the community to take care of Braden's girlfriend as they wait for news from plant officials. First responders are vetting several fundraisers for victims' families. Chief Hanig humbled by the community's support for them and first responders as they see this difficult recovery through.
I want to make that clear that we are working diligently, and crews have from the beginning, to have the best outcome.
And newly obtained 911 records are providing some more insight into what happened that morning.
Investigative reporter Kyle Labushi walks us through those calls.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
At 7:18, the first call comes in to emergency dispatchers. There's an incident at Nippon Dynaway Packaging in Longview.
What's going on there?
We have 3 people with chemical burns from white liquor, and there's 1 person missing.
The caller reports a tank imploded. At 7:20, emergency dispatchers upgrade the call to a hazardous materials incident involving chemical exposure.
1982 medic 22 from Control 1, respond 3401 Industrial Way at Nippon for a hazmat burn.
Plant workers are waiting at the main gate to let fire and rescue onto the property.
Yeah, we need rescue units, fire department, everyone.
Yep, we've got lots of people headed that way.
Emergency dispatchers call for additional fire crews and medics.
We're reporting a tank imploded. It looks like there's 3 people with chemical burns and 1 subject is missing.
At 7:42, emergency crews activate Lifelight and request additional units. The victim count escalates quickly.
And you said the ones that are burned are still out there?
Yes.
Dispatchers work with hospitals asking who can take critical patients.
Advise St. John's we're coming in code 3 with 1 red patient. Advise them that we're going to need decon in the parking lot and airway management.
More than 30 minutes after the initial call, the number of victims continues to rise. The scene remains unsafe for hours.
Reading through the emergency dispatch logs, one thing stood out to me. Throughout the morning, dispatchers took call after call from family members who couldn't reach loved ones believed to be working inside the plant. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
Meanwhile, we're also hearing from the owner and operator of Nippon Dynawave, Brian Wood. The director of support services says the plant is operating at minimum staffing levels, but is mostly shut down. He added that employees who are not currently working are still getting paid. And when it comes to safety concerns at the mill, both past and present, he said this.
We work in a highly hazardous atmosphere and a highly hazardous industry. We approach it with the utmost care in everything that we do. I'll let the facts speak for themselves.
And of course, stay with KGW for continuing breaking news coverage as fire crews continue to tend to those floating homes on the Columbia River and as recovery efforts resume this morning in Longview. You can find the latest throughout the morning here on Sunrise and then again at noon. You can also always find up-to-date information online at kgw.com or streaming on our TV app KGW+.